Hi, this is the follow-up tutorial to the tutorial I made earlier about how to create the game called 100. Now the cool thing is that when we were creating the game 100, we used only questions from the question library. So you had all the same questions available if you wanted to create the same game. But now what's even cooler is that you actually have the game called 100 available on your account as well. Go to the games, and instead of clicking your account tab, go to the game library tab, and you see here is the game that was created. To edit that game, we click on it, and it only gives us the option to clone it, so we can't change the game that sits in the library, but that's okay. So we're going to clone it for our use. And now we're basically going to leave the game type the same. We are going to leave the questions the same. You can of course add or remove questions if you want to, but at the moment we're going to leave them the same. And what we're going to do is that we're going to assume that you're not living in New York. So you want to play the same game but elsewhere, because all the questions we added to this game were actually, general. You could ask them anywhere. Then it is possible for us to remove the locations and create the game very easily in another location. And here you see the question list, and clicking this cross actually will remove the question and the location. We don't want this to happen, so what we are going to do is that we're going to click the lock, and we'll unlock the question and the location. So now what is possible is that we could just delete the locations behind every single question we have here. You could of course just move the questions to a new location, but if you need to make it into another city, then this is pretty tough job to do. So it's easier just to go and delete all the locations behind the questions. So even that is pretty hard work, but here we are. So none of the questions in the game now have locations associated to it, and now we can pick a new location. Let's say we want to bring it to London, and let's find a beautiful place from there. Let's take St. James Park. So this is a cool area. Let's check with the satellite as well. Yeah, there's a bridge. Cool. So, and what we're going to do now is that we're going to assign the locations just by clicking on the map one by one. And you see here that the questions start to appear behind the questions. Locations start to appear behind the questions. So again, we can see how long the game would be just by looking at the distance from first to last point. So that gives you an estimate of how long the game is, distance-wise. And the questions do not have to be in any specific order, so we can actually move around quite freely here, just distribute them to different places. Let's do it. So, these are quite random, and if you know the place well, then you probably will be way better off with that. So what I wanted to do was that when I get to this negative values, let's see where we are here. When I get to the negative values, like here we are, I wanted to put them to separate places here, maybe here as well, and also here. And then we have the finish. Let's put it here, and there's a restaurant right here. Let's check it from the satellite view, and let's finish the game there. So now we have basically done it so that we have taken a game that has general questions from New York, to London in no time. And let's go to the next screen as well. So we should give it a name, and let's call it London 100. We're just going to leave everything else the same. We're not going to change anything. And we're going to create a game. And what happens now is, I'm going to close that for a moment, is that if you go to your game library, then you can see that London 100 is now your game, and you can go and edit it. To play the game, you need to create an event, but that's in another tutorial. Thanks.